Hello! This video is going to be about James the First and Charles the First. Charles the First. This is going to be their differences and their similarities to each other. Now, let's start with sexuality, probably one of the most simple ones you could probably differentiate. James the First was openly gay, pretty much with George Villiers, aka the Duke of Buckingham, and also his very first gay relationship was with, I can't pronounce his first name, I think it's Esme Stuart, or it's a French name, Esme Stuart, who became the Duke of Lennox in Scotland. He was the actual person who actually introduced James into the French's version of Divine Right of Kings, which practically destroyed an entire nation. Such as, look at Louis the, I think it was 15th. I can't remember, there's too many Louis, that's the problem. I think it was Louis XV, where he was thinking, ooh, I can do what I want, no have to, it's all this absolutism crap, it's all that, where everyone has to obey you and everything like that. No one's gonna obey you, there's gonna be a few people that hate you, for fuck's sake. There was a gunpowder plot when he came to England, all the Catholics wanted to blow him up. And, you know, of course, his gayism, James's gayism, was a product of the fact that his mother had his father murdered, and then the person who murdered his father, when he married Queen of Scots, he was a horrible bastard. And then I think she had another one as well, and he was just as bad. So he had no fatherly love and no masculinity in his life. So basically, that's how he became gay. I mean, he wasn't gay as in, ooh, as in really, you know, well, I'm not sure about his dress sense, but he wasn't like gays you see nowadays, always wearing pink and all fluffy duffy and like, that kind of, you know, really, really puffy. Consider the fact that he wasn't a very nice man. That's another differentiation between Charles. Charles wasn't gay. I forgot about Charles, didn't I? Yeah, thought wrong. Charles the First, he wasn't gay. He was slightly more camper, but he wasn't bumming Buckingham as James the First did. The only reason why Charles became friends with Buckingham was because his brother had died from typhoid, and he needed a role model to grow up with, and Buckingham obviously filled the void and obviously made yet another Stuart monarchy fucked up as he always had been. I think he was the main reason. Well, listen to the first actions in her reign maybe caused a little bit of the uproar with Parliament, but it was mainly Buckingham that really undermined the entire Stuart monarchy, that he gave rise to most of Charles's qualms with Parliament, because Parliament wanted him to be removed. Plus he had all these titles, and he was just a fat, an old, you know, he was like most of these actors nowadays. They're all so handsome, but they've got no talent. It's kind of like that. It's where he's just good looks and that's about it. He's not brains, although I suppose he did have a little bit because he's manipulating the king. But that's because he went to James and went, yeah, just look a little bit. And James was like, eee. Of course, if you do know your history, you should know that he did have a queen, Anne of Denmark, James I. But the only reason why he humped her was because he wanted an heir to the throne. He didn't do it because he liked it. Because he didn't love her to any extent. He actually hated her to fair enough. He was just like, if you've ever seen Gunpowder Treason and Plot, the one with Robert Carlyle in, that's about the Gunpowder Plot, but there's also a little bit beforehand with James. And he says to his wife, yeah, you can always get yourself one of those lovers after you have, I think it's like 2 or 3 boys or something like that. After a certain amount of years, you can just go and hump whoever you want after that. Plus, I think it was when he was about to marry her as well. He says, I don't love you, I'm just marrying you, bitch. Something like that. I mean, he wasn't a very nice man. Consider the fact that he also, you know, dribbled, slurped his soup or whatever. He was pretty much a disgusting man outright. Charles I wasn't so disgusting. It was more kingly in terms of his behaviour, in terms of, you know, like monarchy nowadays is all like, yeah, stop it, yeah. that kind of thing. But James was like, he's kind of like that. He was like, scratching his balls all the time, which wasn't very nice. And the fact that he always had his hand in his trousers, fiddling with his small don't know what the rod. I don't know what they use in kingship with that rod. I don't know what that. He's messing with his little kingly rod. And in fact, wasn't there something? Apparently, he actually made I think it was a Catholic suck his balls just so he'd become king of England. I don't know what that was. No, it was Catholic toleration. That was it. And he was like, "You were sucking my balls, bitch." But he wasn't outright disgusting man. Well, Charles I had a more he had a more tutoring lifestyle. James I was just left to rot really. It was just like, yeah, you're ugly. Felt like it was kind of like with what Charles was with James. James treated Charles like shit. He was like, he's not my son, he's a mutant. Then again, consider the fact that at the time Prince Henry, his brother, was a very handsome, healthy, he was actually everything a king would be. As a matter of fact, you kind of think, what would happen if Henry hadn't died and Charles had? What would have happened? Well, I suppose he wouldn't have had the Civil War, I suppose, and Parliament probably wouldn't have been a bit of a pain in the arse. But you never know. We don't know Henry because he didn't live very long to actually do anything per se. So, oh yeah, we can't actually say what he was. But similarities. Well, the similarities are very ambiguous. I mean, you've got James's belief in divine right of kings. They both had that right thing. That was because he learned it from his father, or maybe some Catholic bastard he was tutoring with. I have no fucking clue. The Buckinghamship was exactly kind of the same, except Charles wasn't bumming him. James was. Charles was just like, oh yeah, good chum, all that kind of thing. Buddy love kind of thing, not gay love. The stupidity, well, I think Charles was a bit more or less a king in terms of religious policy. I mean, like Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I didn't focus on her certain policies. She didn't like to get involved with them. It's kind of like what Charles did. Charles didn't do fuck all in terms of religious policy. He was more foreign policy kind of thing. It was pretty much when he went to Spain with Buckingham and they humiliated him. He was like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill these Spanish daggers. We're gonna. Buckingham, you tell me what we're going to do." And of course, Buckingham, who was a complete spanner, all the stuff that all the expeditions he went on, got completely fucked to top. They were just ruined all the time. Soldiers were getting drunk, their siege ladders were not tall enough, the ships were poorly made. Basically, there was just complete fuck up in the entire system. I mean, James I at least tried to make tolerancy for both sides, but the problem is though, with Protestantism and Catholics, you tolerate one, the other one gets pissed. Do to that one gets pissed, and it just goes like that all the time. And obviously, eventually he thought, "Ooh, Arminianism, that should do it." That's a combination of Catholic and the Protestants. It's where the Protestant belief of the king being in charge, but everything else is all Catholic. And obviously that pissed the Catholics off because they wanted the Pope in charge, and that pissed off the Protestants because they wanted their religious belief system, which, once again, didn't actually help the religious policy at all. But at least James tried. But I think he just made it worse, to be fairly honest. So, Charles and James, similar? Majority, difference in terms of sexuality and everything else. Thank you.